Greetings, besties. It's Shimbakazi. Welcome to an awesome collective reading. So today, I wanted us to find out what's happening spiritually, and then we get what do we need to do spiritually, right? I've been having like a series of very intense dreams where I'm in the dreamscape. I find myself winning situations that I'm in, and so I want to now know what is going on and what do I need to do? Because you always know as above, so below, and you also have to do your part. So I don't know if everyone's been feeling that way, whereby you're being challenged within the dreamscape, even in this 3D dimension. So yeah, I just want us to get some messages there. So I'm going to be using the Secret of the Ancestor card. um Using new decks, you'll find that when I get a new deck, I use it a lot because that's how I connect with it. That's how the meanings come to me even more. So I want to use this and see what they're saying to us. You might see me refer to the book as well, because sometimes the meanings in different decks can differ slightly, and it's that slight difference that gives you the bigger picture. Alright, so let's connect. Inhaling good energy, exhaling negative energy, asking your guides to give you the message that connects to you, right? Because that's the whole purpose of it. Even though it's collective reading, we wanted to connect to you at a personal level because we're all connected, right? So as the spirit guides, the angels, love and light, please can we get one card? What is happening with the collective? Can we have one card, please? What messages do we have? My shuffling is a bit off because I hurt my thumb, but we'll move, we'll persevere. Please can we have one card as this? Let's see. I just want one card. It gives us a message. I feel like today I might be pulling instead of letting them fall out because of the way I'm shuffling. Let's see, I'm sure it feels good. Yeah, we'll get into it. Let's see. Please can we have one card? Can you pull? Okay. We have Boo Boo the Fool, possibilities and potential, which is the Fool card. Boo Boo the Fool. Whenever we get this Fool card, right, I find it so interesting when we look at the imagery because it's literally this individual who's taking a leap of faith into the unknown because you're on this mountain and you have to get off this mountain but you don't know where you're going to land. And that's why you're considered the fool, because you don't know anything. You're Jon Snow, you know nothing. And when this comes out, you're not alone because every fool card has an animal. This one is a cat. Um, Interesting enough, because when we think about cats, these are animals that can travel through different dimensions. Which is why if you've ever owned a cat, you can see a cat here, and the next moment you see it there without seeing it cross through. You're like, how'd you get there? It's because they can enter through portals and travel between dimensions. Hence why they say cats have 9 lives, because they can go through all the dimensions as well. Alright, so this cat represents an animal spirit that is always with you. Alright? And when we say animal spirit, it's just a guide that is always with you. It doesn't necessarily have to be an animal. It could be a guide who comes in the form of an animal as well. But it's always speaking that you're always divinely guided, even when you don't know, even when you're the fool. Alright? So this could then show in the dreamscape, right? When you enter that dimension in the dream world, and your guides are showing you that you are not alone in this dream world. They are walking with you. They are showing you things. They are helping you along as well. I want us to see where Boo Boo the Fool comes from in this deck. Let's see, number 0. Because we want to know what this ancestor represents when it comes to this and how she wrote it. Bubu the Fool is depicted in the colorful clothing of the Mande ritual clown, an ancient performance dating back to the kingdom of Segu, now in Mali. Very interesting over here, because I think when you look at most African traditions, you'll find that they do have this performance, dancing, rituals that is done all over. And we know that music plays a big part in African spirituality, and so does dancing, because that's the vibration, that's the rhythm, that's how we tune into the vibration of what we're trying to tune into, right? Whether it's through a certain ancestor, whether it's through the universe, whether it's through source as well. That is what we use. And you'd find that it's interesting enough. I was having this conversation with my partner the other day and was speaking about um, how religion removes certain aspects that are very important for an individual, the fool, the person who doesn't know anything, for this fool, for the individual to connect to higher energies. And they really do demonize instruments and music and vibration and dancing and all those things to really try and make it seem very orthodox, to make it seem very rigid as well. And your spirit guides are telling you to move away from the rigid energies that this world is trying to push you into, because there's more to it than what you know or can see. Let's see. Thank you, ancestors. Let's see what is going on. Alright, so we have the Fool. Thank you. We have the Father of Water, who's the King of Cups, balance and harmony. And then we have the Father of Fire, who's the King of Wands, passion ignite. Oh my goodness, I love this. Because one, we have the Zulu King, and then we'll see who the other king is from here, if we're looking at it. You see why I love this deck? Because it really shows us the different types of ancestral guides that walk with us at every level. Let's see. With the King of Cups, right, we have balance and harmony, and then the Father of Fire, passion ignites. So you got that water and fire element. But funny enough, is the ancestors are speaking about balancing these two masculine energies as well. Even though we understand that water is a very feminine energy, but in this aspect is showing up as the King of Cups. And right now we'll see what the King of Cups really represents in this deck, but also what the King of Wands representing that fire, that fire energy, that passion. So you could find that your spirit guides are telling you now to balance two things within your life. This could be balancing out relationships with family, balancing out relationship with masculine energy that's around. Perhaps there's a balancing that's taking place with the masculine energy here, because like we know that we're moving from patriarchal society, which brought us the energy of being ruled by time and systems, right? Because patriarchy within itself, within the system, under it is where we get the institutions, the corporations, and things like that. And we know that we're coming away from that because we're now moving into the matriarchal rule, right? Where those things no longer apply. Hence why we see those systems are crumbling and falling. Time is even not the way it was before. Besides that, banking institutions, education institutions, political institutions, they all seem to be crumbling, because that's what's needed in order for this era to come through. That's where we say it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world as you know it. Let's go to King of Cups. Actually, I want to do King of Wands first. And see who this ancestor represents. I had a feeling it was Shango. The father of fire comes forward as a much feared, uber powerful Shango, the Yoruba Orisha of thunder and lightning. Shango was a king who became a defied ancestor. All right, so this is juicy divine yang energy. It is safe to take charge with motivated action. Try EFT, emotional freedom techniques. Tap in to help you relax into your natural leadership as well. I like that. So when we look at EFT, it's when you tap certain points within your body, right? To unlock those energy centers within you. So that could be something that they also want us to do, because we were finding out what is happening, but at the same time, what do we need to do? So there could be some sort of tug and pull between different elements taking place, because that's where the chaos and the order comes in, right? Let's also read the King of Cups to also see what they're saying here. So this ancestor comes forward as Sonzwapi, Zulu god of healing. He brings forward the energy of giving and receiving compassion and kindness. This ancestor is a kind, generous, and centered father, stable and calm in the raging seas of life. In some traditions, he is a goddess rather than a god. Have you experienced positive and loving divine masculine energy? This is very different from patriarchal energy. You are capable of balance and worthy of loving and being loved fully and completely. Yeah. So perhaps that is why in the dreamscape you find yourself being challenged but overcoming those challenges. So this full card, stepping into the known, could represent stepping into a new era where it's no longer the patriarchal energy that we maybe have been accustomed to or used to, and now we're tapping into a whole new other energy as well. All right, let's clarify each card and then we'll keep going. What else do you have, ancestors? What else do you have for us? Okay. We have Jumbi, or total disruption, which represents the death card. We have the Martyr, sacrifice and self-reflection, which represents the hanged man. And then, please can we get one more? Ooh, I'm also seeing something as well. Let's see. Because already when I see the Martyr, I'm seeing Goddessa Lakani, right? And this is bloodlines. And then we have two kings. Yeah, this could also speak of a bloodline energy that's taking place. We'll take these two. We have the twins. See, two kings, twins. Conscious and connections. And then we also have altar air. Interesting. I think we once spoke about this either 2 years ago. We spoke about this, and I think we were seeing this because it's interesting how we have two kings that popped up here, and with these two kings would represent different bloodlines coming together, as well to usher in this matriarchal energy, because in the matriarchal society, this is where bloodlines were ruling, right? This is where we had kingship as well. And then when patriarchy came in, it removed that, brought in the false bloodlines, and they brought in everything that comes under patriarchy, right? That's where we now had the political system, the voting system, democracy, and leadership, and things like that. but it's now being corrected because now they're bringing in the rightful rulers. So you may even find that within your bloodline that is something that's taking place, where your ancestors are showing you and constantly helping you through these challenges to show you that you are the rightful heir to something. Because I love that Sarah Lakani came out because she really just showed the full picture of her. Because when we look at her, she represents, as a goddess, she represents someone who came from, they say, Jesus' bloodline as well. But we'll read her story just now properly in the book because I don't want to say it incorrectly. But it's showing you that you come from a bloodline that has gifts and roles and purpose that it needs to step into that perhaps were hidden from you, from the world, you know. Also, I was rewatching Attack on Titan, and the whole story is so interesting. The whole story is very esoteric, and it also shows us what's taking place within the society that we live in. Because when we first look at the story of Attack on Titan, we see that they were having at the beginning, they were having to replace the king because there's a false king who was there, and the rightful bloodline was not the one that was ruling. Once they figured that out, they took one of the descendants who was Historia, and she now had to rule the land, right? And so you see that is also going to take place too. You may find that there could be people who are now wanting to take up positions and be in spaces that they didn't even think they wanted to be in, but you're going to be pushed into towards that direction. Whether it's even your workplace, where you just feel, I'm just going to be in this role, but you're going to find that life is going to push you into a higher role than what you're used to, because order is being restored, because you're being placed where you need to be. And that's the same story as well with Attack on Titan. And then you find that when the story even gets bigger, whereby now they find out the reason why they didn't know what was happening in the past is because they had their memories erased, right? Which when I was watching Rod Hayes, and I think it was with Beadle, and they're talking about the Pleiadian light lock that is there, or that was there, that, you know, it almost, the stories are quite similar, because you find that even within our lifetime and the dimension that we're in right now, within this 3D, you'll find that there is, and I'm not sure if you've heard the story of the memories of everybody here being wiped out intentionally to make people forget who they are. Hence why our ancestors come back to remind us who you are. Everything that we do with ancestral work is literally about remember who you are. And if you've done all of my readings, especially when I use the ancestor card, there is a card that's always about remember who you are. And when that card comes out, it's literally always talks about find out about your bloodline, find out about your gifts, find out about the truth. And that is what's taking place right now, right? So it could be a memory being restored back to the collective as well. Because and when we saw that, especially the Attack on Titan, they wiped out people's memories and they changed the memories for some people as well, so that they don't see certain things, or so they see certain things a certain way. That manipulation taking place, but it's being done away with Goddess Jumbi, with total disruption as well. That's the challenge, just the chaos that's coming in. I wanted to read about the Hanged Man, Sarah Lakali, so we can really understand. Right. So, the great ancestress Sarah Lakali, meaning Sarah the Black, was an ancient Egyptian prophetess and the patron saint of the Romani. Oral history says that Saint Sarah had the highest divine lineage as the daughter of Jesus of Nazareth and Mary Magdalene. All right. So she represents the hangman. You're not being punished, although it sure feels like it. Wait, take a moment to reflect. This is a luxury that many of your predecessors did not have. So you are not being punished, although it may feel like it. You know what I mean? I get it. Because I always thought, but oh my gosh, being chosen feels like punishment because you go through all these trials and tribulations, but they're saying just hang on there. There is order to what's taking place. We also have the twins over here, conscious connections, and the altar of earth, which is limitless prosperity. It could be the Ace of Pentacles. We'll verify, but I believe it's the Ace of Pentacles. Interesting enough, we have the twins again at the father, and I'll tell you what it means. This is a very, very interesting concept as well, because what I'm seeing over here, and we're talking about it. Again, it links back to Attack on Titan and then also links back to um, the story of the Anunnaki. So if you've watched Attack on Titan, maybe you'll really resonate to what I'm saying, but if you haven't, you should watch it. It's a really, really great anime. Um, it's not long at all and it gets to the point, no fillers, really great. So when we look at it, and it's also a joke I always make with my partners, like we always say this, like all this disruption and chaos that we're experiencing in this 3D is because of family feuds and sibling rivalries that are that have nothing to do with us. You'd have to understand the story of the gods and the Egyptian gods and the Anunnaki gods, or some of you have read them as the Sumerian stories as well, the ones on the tablets. You understand between the story of Enki and Enlil, and you understand the story also if you watch Attack on Titans between Eren and Zeke, the two brothers as well, and it's showing me that with the two kings and the twins over here, representing twin consciousness, representing ideologies coming through, one needing to balance, right? Because they need each other to fulfill what needs to be fulfilled. Because even when you look at the Enki and Enlil story, Enlil plays a role that he needs to play within the collective consciousness so that we can remember who we are. So agreeable, disagreeable, all plays a part in the twin consciousness, in the collective consciousness, right? We're not separate from everything. Everything's connected back to us. There's duality as well in the world, but it's all connected. So let's read the twins so we can see who they represent, because I'm not too sure. All right, they represent the Lover's card. Interesting. The twins are depicted by the ancient Marasa Jumex, twin Loa deities of Haiti, renowned for their healing powers. It says, my child, there are those in your bloodline who didn't know love or who considered it. Do not let this be your inheritance. Okay. The twin ancestors show up together to represent love of all kinds. Familiar, family, romantic, divine self-loves. Bring your whole self to all loving unions. You're worthy just as you are. You deserve to be fully loved and completely on your own terms. So we have the love frequency. Then the altar of earth, like I said, could represent the Ace of Pentacles. Yes, it is the Ace of Pentacles. And this is represented by, so the altar of earth comes forward with the energy of Hindu goddess Bhudevi, the fertile mother of earth, incarnation of the prosperous Lakshmi, I can't say it. Yes, so a Hindu goddess. Interesting. So again, with the Lover's card representing two things that seem very different, whether it's masculine, feminine, ideologies, gods, deities, energies, things like that, showing that it's all connected and it's all one. They need to find a balance because it's the balance that makes it one as well. So this could also represent, again, maybe the tug and pull that's going on within you, even within the dreamscape, showing you that all the dimensions are ultimately connected into one thing, right? We have limitless prosperity. I love that it came out on its own though, because really with the Ace of Pentacles is showing there's a new seed that's being planted within the collective consciousness that will bring prosperity to those who are balanced. Literally, just those who are balanced. How do you balance two sides? Because even when you look at the Attack on Titan story, and I know I'm talking about it, usually that's how I am when I watch something. It's very intentional, even without me knowing why I'm watching it, it'll always show up as a theme. Okay, so even when you see Attack on Titan, you see that even with the two brothers, each has an ideology as to how this chaos must occur, must happen so that something new can come through, right? And it's about needing to find the balance within that chaos. How? Because for them, it's one is saying we need to destroy a certain place, right? In order, not really destroy a certain place. He wants to euthanize a certain place so that that bloodline doesn't continue. Then another is saying, no, I want to keep that bloodline. Let's remove everything that's outside of that. And it's like, I don't know if you're seeing how the ideologies are very different, but they can find balance within what they're trying to say and what each of them wants. So it's about finding balance in situations. Let's get 3 cards in here. Ooh, touching earth, planting something new. So this is literally what that matriarchal energy is all about. Planting something new, a new earth, right? Then we also have earth magic. Earth again. And when we speak of earth, we're speaking of planet Kai, right? Speaking about this new earth, this new energy, Mother Nature doing what needs to be done. And we also have hidden knowledge, Akashic records, which really is interesting because when you are in the dreamscape, you are tapping into those records, right? You're tapping into knowledge, hidden knowledge, and you're pulling it back into this dimension. So there is, because we also have under here of earth magic, fearlessness, removing obstacles. So there's obstacles that are being removed within this 3D so that this new earth can come through. So you're tapping into hidden knowledge. So your spirit guide. So you could also be one of those people that is part of the whole removing what needs to be removed. So maybe that's why you are fighting, having these challenges in the dreamscape, because you'll be removing it out of your own personal life. And then you wake up and you do certain things to also align as above, so below, as within, so without. Yeah. Let's see. Let's get into what we need to do. So as the spirit guides and angels of love, and I thank you so much. What does the collective need to do? Again, get into nature. Coexist, gather, limit, waste. You need to coexist with nature. What are you doing as at a personal level to help raise the vibration of the earth? Right? Because we said you need to raise the vibration of the earth. So, and interesting enough that getting nature is under touching earth, planting new seeds. Let's see what they want from us with this touching new seeds. Let's see. Planting new seeds. Number 12. The law of cause and effect is always at work in your life. Cause and effect. As above, so below, isn't it? So the cause would be in the higher dimensions, right? in the 4D as it affects what happens in the 3D. The 3D is the effect. So they're speaking of that.